Hello again, and welcome to another episode of Real Talk with RJ. If this is your first time listening, please don't forget to like and subscribe and follow so you know exactly when we release brand new episodes. Also, don't forget to share if you like what you hear, share it with everyone you know. It's been a very long time since I have created a new episode, and life has been very demanding. So I really apologize for that. And I really appreciate all those who were continuing to follow me and those who have listened to the older episodes, especially the episodes on Real Talk with RJ on the podcast platforms of Spotify and all the other ones available where you can listen to podcasts. I appreciate all those who went over there and listened to those episodes, and I really love the feedback and the emails that I've been getting from people, from fans letting me know what they think. I absolutely love to read those, and I absolutely love the feedback and the advice, and also the ideas about topics. So this episode is going to focus on something that has actually not been very addressed, as in my opinion, in a way that I believe it should. It's really interesting that when we look at when we listen to music is greatly influencing society. It's influencing the interactions with people, and it's also influencing the type of mentality that people have, the mindset that people have. I've been listening to I used to hate country music. I was dating this woman a long time ago, and she was a big country fan. And I was born and raised in the hood. I'm a black guy, born and raised in the hood, so I always had that stigma or that perception that country music is not black people music. And uh, that's I use those words on purpose, deliberately, because that was a mentality that I was indoctrinated to have when I was raised in the hood. Black people don't listen to country music. That's what was taught to me. That's the mindset I was always taught to have. And so when this girl was talking to me about country music, I was like, "Nah, man, I'm never listening to no country music. I won't do that. The only country song I listen to is Garth Brooks, "The Thunder Rolls," because that song is cold. That's a cold song. I absolutely love it. Other than that, I'm not listening to country music. I don't want to hear about guys getting their trucks back or they're losing other cows. That was how I thought before. And she's like, "Just listen to this song." So I listened to one song. I was like, "Hey, this song is actually pretty cool." And she had me listen to another song. And every time I listened to those songs, I always thought about her. So I was like, this music is cool. It's actually positive. It has good subjects, good focuses. And then I went to Iraq. I was deployed in Iraq for 7 months with the Marine Corps. And it was really interesting because the entire time I was down there, I never once heard a hip hop song talking about, "Hey, we support you guys. Come home safe. We love you. Thank you for what you're doing for us." I never heard that. I never heard a rock song saying, "Thank you for what you're doing," or anything like that. I've never heard any rock songs showing love and support to us when I was out there. Now, not to say they did not. I'm not sure if they ever did after I left, but when I was out there, I never once heard any other genre of music showing love and support for what we were doing. We were leaving our families and sacrificing our freedoms because when you're in the military, you don't have the freedoms that your average person has. Like if you guys don't like a president, you can insult that president, say they're a piece of crap, they're garbage. You can say whatever you want. You can speak your mind. When you're in the military, you can't. You get in trouble for disrespect and insubordination to a superior non-commissioned officer or the president of the United States. You're not allowed to speak on that. If somebody ever asks you, "Hey, what do you think about the president?" You're supposed to say he's the commander in chief, and I've sworn to support and defend him. That's all you can say. You can't say anything else. You can't speak your mind and say, "I don't like him, but I'll take a bullet for him." You can't say even that. So when I was in Iraq, I was listening to all these different types of music, and believe me, I absolutely love music, whether it's symphonic, whether it's from the ballet, whether it's just an orchestrated play from the L.A. Philharmonic or any other place like that. I love gospel music. I love rock, death metal, R&B, hip hop, like good hip hop, not a lot of the garbage which I'll be talking about shortly hereafter. But I love music because music has a language that even if you don't understand the lyrics, it brings people together. You can bring someone from Jamaica, someone from China, someone from India. You bring all these different cultures and have each and every one of them bring an instrument that is unique to their culture, and then have somebody, especially the percussion, someone who's doing the percussion starts it up, and then everybody else can fit in and they will find their sound. And it would just be beautiful when you have all these different cultures coming together to create something beautiful. I've seen it. I've experienced it when I've been in bands with some of my buddies. We would just I would have a riff that I would play on the drums because I love playing the drums, and I would just start hitting the drums and seeing what other things are happening, seeing what I can do, and next thing I know, um, like the other members of the band will come in and start creating something as well, and we compliment each other, and we have this work of art. Music, like just it crosses all borders, it crosses all barriers, it crosses all religions. It unites people. I went to go see the Swedish House Mafia when they came to the Banc de California Stadium in Los Angeles, and it was raining, and I absolutely loved it because Swedish House Mafia still performed on the stage, and they didn't have an overhang or an awning or anything stopping the rain from hitting them. They were getting rained on. Out they put a plastic bag on top of their equipment and continue to perform for us, and they were talking to us, "You guys enjoying yourselves?" And I was like, "Wow, dude, that says a lot for some for celebrities to actually get out there and be willing to talk and be willing to perform regardless of the weather. That shows a lot because fans are always willing to do that. You see it in the NFL all the time. When it's snowing, you got fans sitting there huddled up with each other, but they're there. They're showing that support. So it really meant a lot to be able to experience that. But I looked at all these people inside this in the stadium, flooded, full of people. Not one person cared whether or not you support the LGBTQ plus community. Not one person cared whether or not you Republican or Democrat or independent. Not one person cared if you were atheist or Christian. No one cared. We were there to enjoy music. They were there talking about music, enjoying the show. I've like my another thing about music is my mom married a guy from Nigeria. So as a joke, anyone who knows me knows I make jokes all the time about race, whether it be white, black, Latino. Because I think right, me personally, I think racism is stupid, so I make fun of it. And it's helped me a lot by me making all these racist jokes from all different things. First, I make sure that people know who I am and know me, that I am not racist at all, but I love to make fun of stupid racism. I make racist jokes so that people don't walk on eggshells around me. I want them to be themselves. So I said all that to say that when my mom got married to this African dude, I made her the ringer to her phone, the Lion King song, The Circle of Life, not the one by Elton John, but the African group that sings, and it's beautiful. I love that song. But every time she calls me, you're now is it, yeah, and I just start laughing because when I'm at work, the same thing happens. She calls me at work, then everyone is just quiet, and all of a sudden you're now is it, yeah, and I just start laughing, and they're like, "What the heck? Are you a Lion King fan?" I'm like, "Nah, that's my mom. She married an African dude, so I did that." And I started saying, "Mom, when you got married, did were there a bunch of like animals bowing to you and your husband and holding little lion cubs up?" And she starts laughing. "Shut up, boy. Don't you ever tell my husband that." I was like, "I won't. He doesn't know me like that, so I'm not gonna joke with him like that." But I'm a big avid person. I'm a big avid person when it comes down to like freedom. I want people to actually, be themselves around me. I want people to be comfortable. I want people to know that they can talk, that they can be themselves. That's the most important thing. I don't like people walking on eggshells and thinking they have to be super politically correct or anything like that. It's all about them being who they are. It's all about being comfortable with yourself. It's all about being yourself. Because if you can't be yourself, then I'm doing something wrong, or maybe you are. But I want to make sure that that fault is not on me. Um, so I've been listening to hip hop, and I've been looking at different cultures, and it's really interesting because when I listen to country music and I see country fans, if you look at like fans of country music, their culture is very family oriented. They have that southern, even if they're not from the South, they have that southern generosity, as they say. They're looking out for each other, they're talking with each other, they're good neighbors. You move in across the street, they're gonna come over there with a pie or break you something and say, "Welcome to the neighborhood. Can I help you out?" You know, that tends to be the culture amongst country music fans. I listen to like I see Latinos, they have a very big culture of family, regardless of what category of Latino you happen to be, whether it's Salvadorian, Venezuelan, Nicaraguan, and Mexican, whatever the case may be, they tend to have a family culture. and their music is, love, some a lot often drinking, from ranchero, mariachi. They have this style of music called corridos, which is like, they're like bandit gangster type of music. But that's not the stuff you hear on the radio all the time. That's stuff you got to kind of look for and listen to. And it's not the things I never hear corridos, at least not in my experience. I've never heard corridos on the radio as the mainstream type of music. I see reggaeton, which is from those you guys who know Daddy Yankee, Don Omar, Bad Bunny. Like they tend to sing reggaeton, Latin pop, these different things. Like they're about having a good time, about love, about meeting women, stuff like that. Now I'm looking at hip hop. When I was growing up, a large portion of hip hop was talking about the struggles that black people were enduring. They were talking about how the police were, back in the 80s, 60s, etc., how they were out there just beating people up, especially blacks. They were beating blacks up. They were talking about that in hip hop. They're talking about how we were oppressed and it's hard for anybody to get out. We're trying to feed our families. They're talking about real things. Like Tupac said in one of his songs, he said, my stomach hurts, so I'm looking for a purse to snatch. It's like that's how he was back when he was a kid. Like he felt he had to commit crimes in order to survive because nobody else would give him a chance. Now, I don't know his backstory like that in depth, so I can't say, oh, well, he was justified in feeling that because you never know somebody's life or the circumstances. It's easy to tell the coach of a football team what they should have done at 4th and 1 with 2 minutes left in the game after you watch it. But when it's your neck on the line and you have the clock ticking down against you, it's a whole different story. Just like people go, "Oh my gosh, is a waitress job that hard?" Until you become a waitress and you're like, "Oh crap, this is actually really difficult." So, why did I say that? Because I wanted to talk about what hip hop is doing. I look at the Jewish community and I see that these people are united. They look after each other, they hire each other, they work with each other, they build each other up. Yes, there's many that are greedy that's in any race, that's in any culture, but they're building each other up. They're smart business people, and they don't just blow their money. They save their money so that they can do fun things with it later on. And I've worked with lots of Jewish people. The Jewish community is an awesome community, especially when they see that you are open and respectful of other cultures. They're very welcoming people. They're awesome. Same thing with Persians. I've met a lot of Persians who do very similar things. People from the country, those individuals, they don't go out and buy these really expensive, extravagant luxury cars because they're like, that's stupid. I can't put my fishing pole in the back of a Ferrari, or I can't go hook my boat to the back of a Lamborghini. Why do I want a Lamborghini? Give me a good truck where I can put my tools in it. I can put an ATV in it. I can put my pool in it. I can sleep in the back of it. I mean, they put money where, where it's going to actually matter. They buy a ranch so they can have a life to build on without feeling like they're trespassing on their neighbor's backyard or their privacy, and they can do whatever they really wanna do. These people have their priorities straight. Listen to the Latino music, they have that family unit, and if you look at a lot like, in my experience, and again, this is my experience, this is not saying 100% across the board, but in my experience, whenever I would see a Latino business owner, I see lots of Latinos working for them, especially in the construction industry. Lots of Latinos working, and it's not to say that no one else can work for them or they won't hire anyone else. I just see that they help each other out. They lift each other up. Now, what do I see very common now in my own culture? In my own culture, I don't hear hip hop talking about be a good father, be there for your kids, no matter how hard it gets. Make sure your son knows that he's like the right way to be a man. Make sure your son knows that being a gang member is not the right way to live your life. Don't cheat on your girl. Ask her to marry you when you're serious about her. I don't hear that stuff in hip hop. I hear women being limited to the B word. Women now in hip hop are sexual objects for gratification. In just about every hip hop song I heard, I hear the B word referring to a woman, and then all women love me, they give me this, these girls ain't loyal. Like they devalue the black woman. They devalue women, period. But very specifically, when you look at the music videos, you see black women are the ones they're really focused on in these videos. And you look at the women, the female rappers out there. I mean, you see Lizzo over here getting an award talking about, oh my gosh, we're so oppressed. Really? I'm so sick and tired of hearing people from my culture talk about how oppressed we are. When majority of the NFL is black, majority of the NBA is black, majority of the hip hop community is black. There are tons of successful black like business owners. You know what the difference between them and the people complaining about them is? One has the mentality of we're victims, we're oppressed. The other people are only paid to say that. They don't believe that. There's no such thing as a successful victim. It doesn't exist. Because as long as you're a victim, you won't fight. You won't go out there and do what needs to be done and get your money. I don't see like black owned businesses out there hiring tons of black people in their own company unless they're like family members or people they really know. It doesn't happen like that as commonly as you see Latinos hiring other Latinos. Why? Because the music culture that we have now divides us so severely. When someone has a nicer car than you, it's very common in my culture for people to want to go out and outperform them. They want a better car. They want to get a better product or whatever the case may be. They want to get something better. They don't care about just getting their own or just like performing their best. They want to get better than the other person. And then you have this tone that has been adopted. You see all these women on TikTok, all these women out there going, "Yo, what is wrong? Where are all the good men at?" And then you start asking them and you look at their other TikToks. "Oh, girl, if your man want a sandwich or your man wants something to eat, tell him to go make it himself." And they're under this impression that what they bring to the table is them. No, that's an illusion that just about every black female rapper and actually, yeah, just about every black female rapper out there is out there pushing this. I'm a boss B. I don't need nobody. Go get that man, get his money, get your own, handle your own business. Don't let no man control you. Don't let a man tell you what he should and shouldn't do. Don't let a man speak for you. Like they live on this guise of all men being toxically masculine and dictators. They don't ever talk about the good men out there. Yet, you listen to the lyrics that Cardi B and Nicki Minaj say, then look at how they live in their own home. Look at the relationship they have. They are making the dinner and meals for their men because their men have options. They're wealthy men. They know that they can leave. They know that they don't want them to leave, so they cook for them. They take care of them. They also help clean. There's a video of Cardi B out there sweeping her own house, and her dude was out there saying, "Wait, didn't you say that you don't sweep, you don't ever do work?" She's like, "Shut up, turn that camera off." And it got posted. So they're telling you one thing, and they're not even living that. Lil Jon, that is a character that he puts on. He does not talk like, "Oh, okay." That's not his actual normal way of speaking. He's actually very articulate. Same thing with E40 and a lot of other moguls in the hip hop game. They don't talk the way they rap. They know that's what sells because that's what people want to hear. But why do we want to hear that? Why are we feeding into that? What is the result of hip hop in the black community? Do you realize that just about every major skyscraper out there is either, and there are exceptions, of course, but just about every skyscraper in Los Angeles and also in the coastal cities and coastal states, just about all those skyscrapers and busy ports are owned by multiple Asians, multiple Koreans, Chinese, multiple Persians, multiple Jewish people. One person rarely ever owns any of that. It's usually a partnership of people from the same culture. I have a number of friends that work in the real estate industry. I learned this from them. It's not that hard to become very wealthy. If you find multiple people who are like-minded, who want to spend a little money to make a lot of money, and who are willing to focus and not blow their money on these extravagant purses that they don't need, or like they tell you like, dude, a car is one of the worst investments you can get. It never appreciates in value unless it's a collector's item. As soon as you buy your car, it starts to lose value. You buy a house, it increases value. It gives you a level of interest in an equity that makes money for you. That's why these people out there are united. The music they listen to is all about unity, celebrating, uplifting, making people stronger, making people better. Hip hop is one of the greatest forms, and I don't mean great as in positive, I mean like the largest. It's one of the largest forms of black oppression because other styles of music don't talk about the stuff that hip hop talks about. The black community has the largest rate of fatherless homes. The black community has the largest rate of fathers not being active in their kids' lives. So as a result of paternal absenteeism, you have all these boys growing up and trying to be what they believe is a man. I've experienced that. I didn't have a father growing up. My dad went to prison when I was 9 years old. It died 2 days before September 11th. So when he got arrested, it hurt me. It hurt me and broke my heart because for the first time, I realized I was a statistic. I was just another black kid without a father. So, because I didn't have a man teach me, hey, son, because when you have both parents there, you're able to get the attention and nurturing that you need from both parents. You're able to get a balance. But when you have a single parent, I'm not saying it's impossible. There are tons of single parents who have done some incredible things with their kids. Nonetheless, they are still at a disadvantage. That's just a fact. Because if you're a single parent, unless you are getting tons of money in child support and you're effectively using that for your kids and you're able to stay at home, or you're wealthy enough to work from home and actually, give your kids the attention and nurturing they need by you personally, then that's an exception. But usually if a parent is a single parent, they have to work. So they're not able to spend the time that they would want to spend with their kids personally. They just don't have that luxury. They can't be at work and at home at the same time unless they work from home. But even then, you can only do so much working from home because you still got to dedicate your time to your job. So hip hop has destroyed the solid traditions that my beautiful culture once had. You go outside these days, I mean, it was so normal in my culture when I was growing up to see a boy walk over and open the door for his girl or for his date, whether it's the first date or not. I have seen, I don't know how many times, members of my culture, the males, walking with only a phone in their hands and they're sitting there texting, doing nothing else, and their woman is carrying all the bags. Now, this is not about misogyny and saying women can't do this. It's saying a woman shouldn't have to. Women are special, they're sacred. That's why they're given the gift to create life. That's why God entrusted them with the gift to love in a way no one else can. But hip hop is numbing their ability to love and to see just how special they are. One of the reasons why members in my culture were so special, especially the women were so special, is because they didn't have this sense of entitlement that is common now in every culture actually. It's not just unique to just my culture, it's very unique to just society. People are entitled. There are women going to dinners and they're demanding that this man pay for everything. Like, this is your first date, like you're expecting to get taken out to this five-star restaurant. He doesn't know you. They don't roll out the red carpet for you at your job interview. They unless they're trying to recruit you and it's like you're a big deal. This is like a job interview for a romantic relationship. So many women these days because of the culture, and also hip hop affects a lot more than just black culture. Hip hop determines fashion. Hip hop determines like what you see on a lot of TV. They have this genre of books called urban books. I detest urban books because they're full of stereotypes. And all the civil rights activists that came and fought hard for my right to be educated, they did not do that so that I can be stupid. They did that so that I can live. They did that so I can be smart. They did that so that I didn't have to be a stereotype and talk like a slave. If anyone in America is a slave today, it is by choice, not because of circumstance. There are tons and tons of people who have gone through and are still in the NFL that came from the most poor areas in America. It's not where you were raised, it's who you choose to be. So if you want to be a victim and say, "Oh, the government's oppressing us. The government's suppressing us. The white man is suppressing us," then you go ahead and be a victim. And I hope you don't have kids because you're going to create more victims. The difference between you and very wealthy people is that wealthy people aren't victims. They find solutions. California is talking about this type of incentive to of a type of reparation. It's really interesting that this is coming out close to like major elections happening and stuff like that. They're targeting people of color and people who are have immigration status. Now, people are like, people who are black might be thinking, "Oh, that's cool. I'm about to get $1,000 a month for 2 years. That's cool." I think that's BS because those are tax paying dollars, and no one voted on that. There are white people that are paying like to you and Asian people and other African people who are not born in America. They're paying taxes to fill your butt or to fill your account, excuse me, to support you. That's not fair because you're saying, well, my people went through slavery. But if we look at real history, and I've done an episode on this before, if you look at actual history, especially when it comes down to the slave trade, there were almost as many black slave owners as there were white slave owners. There is no monopoly for the African slaves in slavery. There is no monopoly. We do not have a monopoly on that. The first slaves on this soil were Native American, but they knew the land and they were able to escape. They were the first slaves. Latinos were enslaving each other back in the Aztec Mayan days. They were enslaving weaker tribes, just like the Africans were doing the same thing in Africa. So, if the Europeans never bought slaves from Africa, it would not have stopped slavery. In fact, you hear people talking about Great Britain and saying, "Oh, we're their colonizers and this and this. It's the family is racist. They built their house on colonizing." It was actually Great Britain to be the first country to stop slavery. They stopped it in 1730 something. It was like 1730 something was when slavery or 1830, something like that. 1830 or 1730, but they were the first ones to actually stop slavery. America didn't do it until like 30 years after. Really interesting fun fact. But why am I saying all this? Because look how we're treating each other. We're so focused on the color of skin and being shamed that people are not uniting. The Woman King, that movie came out, and I love Viola Davis's ability to act. I love her acting talents, but then I hear her say, "If you don't support this movie, then you are saying that women cannot hold the top spot in the box office." I was like, that was pathetic. For some reason, there's a big movement in Hollywood to shame the audience into watching the movie. If you don't watch this movie, you're racist. Like, I'm not going to spend money to prove that I'm not racist. I don't care what you think of me. No, I paid to see Top Gun Maverick. Maverick didn't have to come to my house and say, "Hey, if you don't come watch this movie, you don't support the military." No, I saw the commercials. I saw the way they created it. Heck yeah, I wanted to watch that movie. I didn't even need to be convinced. I wanted to watch it.
If you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. Let me explain. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcasts, Amazon, and so many more places. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. And best of all, it's totally free. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
It was a great movie. And then Avatar, as soon as I've been watching the tickets, as soon as I saw the tickets were available, I bought tickets. I'm gonna go see Avatar. Nobody had to come over and shame me into watching Avatar. If a movie's good, you don't need to shame anyone into seeing it. But people are trying to guilt you into watching a movie that sucks just because it will make them money. They don't care about you. They care about you making them money. That's it. If you don't watch Lord of the Rings, you're racist. That's stupid. No, Lord of the Rings suck. You guys changed what Lord of the Rings is. There's a reason why Star Wars isn't doing that well because Disney decided to change it into a freaking Barney show. Even the guy that plays Luke Skywalker, he's like, this is not the Luke that I know. I just did it because my boss told me to do it, but this is not the Luke that I know. The Luke I know would not stop and retreat and shame himself. He would figure out a way to solve the problem and come back. The media is changing and it's just causing so much division. Like female artists in the hip hop industry are out there showing every part of their body, leaving nothing to the imagination. And then they're trying to convince you to believe, oh, this is empowering. No, it's not. To walk out there and show your body without respect for yourself, in my opinion, is not empowering. It's literally like, excuse me, let me retract the word literally, but metaphorically, it is the same as it's the same as going out and kissing a slave owner's butt just so you can get an extra portion of food. You're losing your dignity so you can get a little extra. But then what is your dignity worth to you? Because I'm telling you that film Hidden Figures where those black women work from behind the scenes and they help get the shuttle into space. They help the computer processing, move far and move very fast ahead, doing mathematics and all kinds of other things that would, if they were not there, we would not have been able to get to space successfully the way we wanted to. I'm telling you, in their interview, no one was thinking about what cup size are you? Are you willing to sleep with the executive engineer who's in charge of everything? Are you willing to sleep with him to get this job? No, they cared about how smart they were. When you go to medical school, they don't care about how many sexual partners you've had or whether you like to swing or whether or not you can, you're talented with your mouth. They don't care about that. They care, can you save a life? Can you perform surgery? Can you perform the job? When you go into the military, they care, can you use this weapon and keep your brothers and sisters to the right and left of you safe? I'm looking at people who are getting jobs that shouldn't have them. In my opinion, and people can say this is fat shaming. I don't care. If you think it's fat shaming, I disagree with you. But I'm saying this right now. I have seen police officers and I've seen prison guards super fat. I think they should be fired. Why do I say that? Because imagine if your husband or your wife or your brother or sister were a police officer and they were fit. They were being attacked and assaulted and they were at a disadvantage. They had been knocked on their back, and the only person close by is this super out of shape person that is their backup. And that's the difference because the difference between you living and dying or your family member living and dying could be a couple seconds depending on the situation. And this super out of shape person is going to like shuffle over because they can't move their body. I have seen largely overweight officers. I'm not talking about size 36 or 37. I'm talking about they're like size 50 on their waist. Like really, really obese individuals still wearing a badge. Those individuals need to be behind a desk, not driving a car out in society. If you cannot run, if you cannot sprint, you should not be in the field because that's where all the danger is. You need to be able to get there fast to save a life because seconds could be the difference. And the same thing happens when you're in the military. If you're in the military and you can't pass the physical fitness test, they should kick you out completely. If you can't pass the physical fitness test, you should be kicked out because you're worthless as far as being able to do the job you're there to do. Unless you're, like intelligence and I don't need you to be able to move like run from one side or the other if you're doing intelligence. I just need you to be smart. But if you're going to be in the field where you have the opportunity of getting contact, meaning you can get shot at, meaning you've driven on a convoy or they're on a base and the base is getting overrun. Speed and intensity are very important aspects of survival. I'm thinking that there's a lot of people out there who are in places they are because they use their body to get there. Look at J-Lo. J-Lo's an incredible dancer. I won't take that away from her. I don't think she can sing as well as she thinks she can, but I think she's a good singer. I don't think she's a great singer, but I think she's a very talented singer. And I my fiance told me about the possibility of J Lo singing a Whitney Houston song, and I actually got upset. I heard somebody told me that it was actually it was just like it was a troll, like it was just a fake thing, just to kind of play around as a joke. But I was like, you better not, girl. You would destroy your entire career because Whitney's songs are very difficult to do, even for seasoned professionals. And if you don't have a voice like Jennifer Hudson or Fantasia or other people that I think Alicia Keys could probably, in my opinion, I think Alicia Keys could probably hit some of her songs. I don't know if she can do the "I Will Always Love You," but that's a song you got to really hit hard. But yeah, I heard J Lo was gonna try to do a song, you know, the cover of "I Will Always Love You," and I laughed and I was mad. You better not. Girl, you will end yourself doing that. No one will ever leave you alone. You will get letters at your house, emails, tweets. Like you will get hit everywhere of what were you thinking? Anyway, I was just saying like how, I was just thinking about just how detrimental, society has been impact or excuse me, how much destruction has happened among my culture from hip hop because they're not glorifying business mentalities. They're not talking about building businesses and going to school to get an education. They're not out there talking about, staying married and working things out. When COVID hit, all I heard, like people were out there staying at home. When excuse me, 2007 hit. Or no, 2001 hit when the economy went down really bad back in 2001, 2002. The economy was really bad. And I heard hip hop artists talking about, I got a house on my neck, got a rollie on my wrist, I got chains and all kinds of other stuff, talking about how much money they're making. And I heard country music talking about, man, life is hard, but we're going to get through it. Don't give up. Don't stop. I'm looking for jobs, but the cost of living's high and growing. Like they're singing songs that the American people and the rest of the world can relate to. They're talking about things that from the perspective of people who are suffering. They were out there reaching out and relating to the people that are in pain and in need. I've seen tons of celebrities in hurricane situations out there helping, giving food, donating money, like donating stuff in person. They didn't care about the cameras, they were there to help. I ain't seen P. Diddy do that. I ain't seen Jay-Z do that. I haven't seen these hip hop moguls out there in person doing that unless there's a camera around. I'm saying it's like hip hop is actually really doing a lot of damage. There are very few hip hop stars that are talking about actual material. They're talking about actual things that we're experiencing. They're talking about stop blaming other, like there's this one song. Um, me personally, like I don't judge anybody for how they want to live their life or how they want to talk. This is just me personally. I prefer not to listen to music with cussing in it and stuff. Me personally, I think there's a lot of other ways you could articulate something without using a curse word, and it allows a stronger impact. And that's just my opinion. There's a song called "Stop Blaming the White Man." I encourage every person to listen to it. I completely forgot. I have it saved to my playlist, but I forgot his name. But I really encourage you listen to the song. It's called "Stop Blaming the White Man," and it's by a black rapper. And the things he says are just undeniable. And I think that's one of the greatest challenges in our culture is this perspective of victimhood. We're victims. We're victims. We're helpless. There's nothing we can do. Well, if there's nothing we can do, why do these politicians come and kiss our butts and make all these empty promises? Because our voice is a lot louder than they want us to think. When you pacify a threat, you can make that threat go away. We're being pacified by thinking, "Oh, you guys are victims. You guys are victims. We're going to give you these reparations because that's fair. You know, you guys deserve that." How do you know your ancestors weren't actually slave owners? Oh, well, I'm black, so there were black slave owners. It is not fair for Americans of any other culture to have to fund just one culture. If there's reparations money going out, everyone should be making money off that. Everyone should get that reward. If there's money going out from the government, it should hit everyone equally. The government's not supposed to be, biased toward one race. We're looking at that and going, "Oh, well, we had that coming just because you're the recipient." But what if the tables were turned? What if the government wanted to say, "You know what? All the oppression from the BLM riots and stuff like that, all the white businesses and everything, we're going to go ahead and give a bunch of money to only white people." I guarantee you, people like, "That's racist. That's racist." How come it's not racist if they want to go out and give money to just black people? I do not watch BET. I don't subscribe to it. I am against BET. I boycott everything having to do with that channel. Why do I do that? Because the name of the channel is called Black Entertainment TV. And most of the stuff on BET, stereotypical. If you would just say urban entertainment TV, I have no problem. You can go ahead and put all that stuff. But when you say black entertainment is this stereotype, I feel that's racist. I feel that is bad. It is oppressive to my people. It's very disrespectful to all the civil rights activists who fought hard to show people who we really are and what we're capable of being. Look in the history of the Red Tails. The Red Tails were given second-rate planes. They're getting the crappiest planes and the crappiest missions and was still putting points on the board, critical points on the board. Frederick Douglass taught himself how to read. There's so many stories of blacks who have had the less of something or had a disadvantage of something and rose to the top. So we're very capable of this. And those forces that mean to keep us down don't want us to know that. So those who are in charge of hip hop are out there saying, "No, you can't say hip hop, sing hip hop songs that talk about men need to be there for their sons and their daughters. Men need to be honest and loyal to their girls." When's the last time you heard somebody rap about, "Yeah, my wife is right here and we're good"? Ti had a show about, Ti and Tiny's life or a family hustle, or whatever. You would see them, but you never hear Ti talk about his wife or how much he loves her like that. There's a song, I got your back, boy. But you don't hear rappers talking about their wife and how much they love them and how good of a woman they are for being there. Why? Because that defeats the narrative of what hip hop's supposed to do. And you might ask yourself, like, well, why would hip hop want to tear down their own race? Because those guys are getting paid lots of money to do it. It's the same reason why there were Africans out there capturing other weak African tribes and enslaving them, knowing that these people are going to get raped, knowing that they're going to get whipped, beat, tortured. They did it anyway. Why? Because they were making money. The love of money is the root of all evil. This is such a critical point. If in they keep putting all this woke crap inside these Disney movies and all these other movies, and they keep trying to shame us into believing that if we don't support that movie, then we're bigot, we're racist, we're homophobic, whatever the category they want to label us. And then even Rotten Potatoes, I've seen a number of videos that have shown that Rotten Potatoes has actually been hacked. There's a lot of bots in the account where people are like, "How is this movie done so well? Yet look at the box office." The box office is showing that this movie flopped. Yet you're seeing 5,000 verified ratings in Rotten Tomatoes saying that this movie's a 98% or 95%. It doesn't match. People are out there trying to shame you into accepting what they want you to accept because they don't want you. They don't. They don't want you to think for yourself. They can't handle you thinking for yourself. You're a threat to them. The only way the only way that they get power is if we give it to them. If you support these urban books, you are supporting a stereotype that so many people fought to get us out of. That's the reality. But why I relate with these stereotype or these urban books. I relate with them. I like how they relate with me. Don't fall for that. Wake up. Don't fall for that narrative. It's so critical because people are trying to take away the power that you have. Again, they come and kiss your butt for a vote because your voice is loud enough. Do you see them going out to the Asian cultures, like to the Chinese culture? No. When's the last time you seen a politician go out to Chinatown and say, we really want to talk to the Chinese in America? And they don't do that. They go to the like the blue collar neighborhoods where all the workers are. They come to the black community and talk about we want to give you guys better schools. Really? Do you really? Well, didn't you guys have the White House, Congress, and the Senate for the last 2.5 something years? Didn't you guys have all that? And you still didn't give us that? When are we gonna wake up and realize that there are a number of forces at play that are not oppressing us? They're manipulating us into oppressing ourselves. There's too much proof out there to show that we are not being oppressed. There's too many success stories from people coming from being homeless to massive successes. We have YouTube, we have TikTok. You can become very successful off of those two things alone. Just those two platforms, you can become very successful. You can create your own business and do so much. The government's not oppressing us. There are scholarships and so much college money out there just because you're black, just because you're Latino, just because you're Asian. There's so many scholarships out there, but we don't know how to do it because that requires work. And a lot of people don't want to work to find out where these scholarships are. But we have the internet. We can just Google scholarships for black people, scholarships for Latinos, scholarship for Asians. They'll pop up. But then we see a lot of us see these and we're like, nah, that requires an essay and community service. I don't feel like doing all that. We want the easy route. That's what hip hop does. Hip hop gives us this illusion that in order to be successful, you got to have these chains, you got to have these Rolexes, you got to have this nice car. And then guess what? You're not going to attract a good, upstanding, honest, loyal woman with all that stuff. Because the type of woman that are attracted to that, they're not a good, honest, loving, loyal woman that don't care how much money you make. As soon as they see them diamonds like flicker in the sun, they're like, "Oh, hey, how you doing? Yeah, like look at me. I'll do anything you want me to do because I want the resources you have." They're gold diggers. And that's not just exclusively to women. There are men out there who are gold diggers as well. There are tons of dudes out there who are gold diggers. They're just a little more subtle about it. But they're there. There's a lot of them too. But I tell you, there are a lot of judges that are black, a lot of lawyers that are black. Why am I saying all this? I wasn't about making it black or white per se. That's not what the focus was. I'm saying all this to say we're not oppressed. This is not 1960 or 1950 where it's separate but equal and there's whites only and blacks only faucets and stuff like that. Although there are a number of organizations that are being used to try to make us oppress ourselves. Because I'm telling you, if we support the government and giving us reparations, that's going to cause a massive chasm between those who don't get them. It's going to increase in the level of racism. We don't want more racism, we want less. And honestly, racism is not the greatest threat to our country. And more specifically, racism is not the greatest threat to the black race. That's just a fact. People will disagree with that and say, "Yes, it is. Look at, oh my gosh, we're so attacked." We're okay. Let me ask you this, okay? Like, because there's a lot of people out there that would say, "Well, we're attacked far more by cops, than those who are not." Well, let me just feed this if you're open to it. You don't see the tons of white people that are arrested and pulled out of their cars and beat. You don't see that because it doesn't fit the narrative. No one cares about that on media. That's just the reality. No one cares about the white person who was shot while unarmed. I've seen these videos with my own eyes. They have very few views. Nobody cares about that. But the black person that gets shot by a cop, whether it's white or black, uh-uh. People are all on it and they're sharing it and they're talking about it and they're like, "Oh my gosh." And then the news picks it up. See, we empathize. We're against racism. It's an opportunity to sell one more episode. They don't care about you. More black people kill black people than cops kill black people. More black people kill black people this year than cops have killed black people in the last 40 years. So our number one concern is not against the police department. Our number one concern is reinstituting and strengthening the family. If we start keeping our families together, if our black men start working and like working hard and being there for their kids, and these women who are single mothers stop using, and this is not, again, this is not to all. I know that there are women out there that really want the fathers of their kids to be part of their lives, and there's just a lot of deadbeat dads. Having said that, there are also probably just as many, if not more, women out there who are weaponizing their kids and saying, "You can't see our kid, you can't see your son, not until you pay me what I think you should pay me, or not until you do this, or not until they're using their kid as a chess piece to like manipulate the father into doing something else." If your child is suffering and your nails are done with that child support money, you're doing something wrong. Your child needs to be taken care of first. It's called child support. That doesn't mean that you don't have to work as a woman. Yeah, my man or my ex gives me child support, so I don't work. That money's meant to support your kid, not you. It's not mama support, it's child support. And if you really want to empower yourself, take the power away from the media by putting on these long eyelash extensions that you don't need because you're beautiful. There's so many. I seen these videos out there saying, with these women saying, "Oh, I put on makeup for myself. I do that for me. I don't do that for nobody else." I call BS on that because when you go to sleep and you wake up in the morning, you ain't by your house, you ain't doing all that. You ain't putting on all that stuff and getting in. You're not putting on a dress, and walking around the house like top notch. You're not doing all that. You're comfortable, you're relaxing. When you got to go out to the store or go out somewhere else, that's when you put on some form of makeup or start dressing up, to go do what you got to do because you care about the external appreciation. Everyone does to some degree, whether it be a little bit or a lot of it. Everyone cares about external appreciation to some degree. It feels good to be appreciated and it feels good to feel your best. But I'm saying there's all these women the standards are just getting so poor too as well. Like I'm looking at hip hop and I'm seeing these women with all these different wigs on, these long nails, these eyelash extensions, these body suits, these fat transfers to their butt, making and if that's what you want to do because it makes you feel better about yourself, hey, you have the right to do whatever you want. It's your body. I just think it looks funny because it never looks natural. There'll be this woman with a very slim, like it's clear you got a butt job. It never looks real. I've never once seen it look real in like proportion to be realistic. It always looks like a lopsided Barbie that got stung in her butt by like a gang of wasps or something like that. It always looks funny to me. And honestly, if you wanna attract attention to your butt rather than how smart you are, how incredible you are, then you're missing out just how special you are. I've been talking a lot about women, and it's not, I'm not, at all against women. I'm a gentleman, I love my fiancée, I've been raised by a single mother who is the most powerful woman I've ever met in my life. Um, she's an incredible woman, I respect women so much. I just think there is a massive war on women right now. And I'm not even talking about the feminists. These feminists, I think the new feminist movement is full of idiots. full of stupid people. They don't want equality. They want superiority. They're talking about, oh, we're not getting the same rights that men are. Oh, okay, but what rights do men have that women don't? And they can never give answers to that. They can never actually answer these things. You're like, well, men are making way more than women are in the workforce, and that's because men are the majority of the workforce. Of course, they're making more. They're majority, and we also work the jobs that nobody wants. There is like there are no women. There are little to no women in the bricklaying industry, little to no women in the actual construction industry, and plumbing and electrical. There are little to no women in those industries, in the engineering industries. There's little to no women in those things. You see a lot of women supervisors, a lot of women like managers and supervisors come out and go, I don't like hiring women because all these other problems come with them, all this drama comes with them. For any of you out there who work in an office job, uh, is there a level of toxicity? Like girls backstabbing each other and stuff like that. That's that new society. That's the result of the new society of entitlement. There's a lack of self-respect. They are replacing women in sports with boys who can't cut it against other boys. And then when they tie, there's a female swimmer out there who tied exact time in a swimming pool with a trans boy, and they let the boy carry the medal or the trophy. The girl got sent home with nothing, and hers was going to get mailed to her. She was asking, "How come I can't take a picture with the trophy?" They're like, "We've already made a decision. It's going to go to her," meaning the boy. So like women are being devalued and misplaced. Excuse me, not misplaced, replaced. They're now called bleeders or baby makers, and they're just getting replaced. And then there's a flood of porn hitting everywhere. Everywhere you go, there's a flood of porn. I went to go see this movie premiere. I signed an NDA, so I can't actually say what the name of that movie is. Seriously, it was very bothersome because there was in the premiere, you see a boy uh pleasuring himself. He's definitely a boy. He's not a young man. He's a like like a 14, 15-year-old boy, and he's pleasuring himself to the image of this girl. He took a picture of this girl who's about his age, and she's wearing a bikini. She's has no bra on the entire movie. She's the only girl that has no bra on. And like it's sexualized this young girl. And then it sexualized a boy. WTF on that, right? You look at Balenciaga. Where's the outrage? Where are the celebrities condemning the outrage on that? As soon as Elon Musk bought Twitter, there's celebrities left and right. Oh, how dare you? You're wrong. And you're going to sit there and change it. I'm getting off Twitter. Twitter is wrong. Twitter is evil. Really? Why is that type of outrage going up against Trump and against Elon Musk? Yet Jeffrey Epstein didn't get that kind of outrage from celebrities. Yet the dude that run that human trafficking chain that supposedly killed himself in jail, I forget his name, but there was no voices speaking out against him like that from celebrities. What about Balenciaga? I don't see a ton of celebrities out there speaking against Balenciaga when they got this child sex stuff going on. All this is relatable. All this is like it matters to the subject because the media is pushing this narrative. They are trying to sexualize children so that you'll just be okay with it. They're gonna shove it down your throat and in your face so much. It's called subconscious advertising. Like think about it when when you see when it's hot and you see a nice ice cold Pepsi or a nice ice cold Coca-Cola commercial on the TV, you're like, oh man, I need to get a Coke. It's subliminal advertising. That's the word, subliminal. Subliminal advertising. They're trying to subliminally indoctrinate you into thinking that sexualizing teenage girls and teenage boys is not that big of a deal. Hey, they have needs, right? That's what they're trying to get people to do and be okay with. So that when they start making when they start pushing the envelope and start making it worse, it's not as much of a shocker. Like seriously, if for and I'll give you another example. If you have never seen any level of violence and then you walk into a war zone and you see that level of violence, it will screw with you. It's gonna shock you. You're gonna be like, oh my gosh. But if you played games and seen violent movies throughout your life and you've lived on farms and you've had to like hunt and clean an animal and prepare an animal and strip it and everything, when you go to a war zone to see that stuff, it will bother you most likely, but not as much as if it would had you not experienced and seen all the other stuff. They're trying to numb us. They're trying to numb men with hip hop. They're trying to numb men to the idea of family. Man, you don't need a family. It's good. Go out there, live your best life, sow your oats, have sex with all the girls you want. Don't worry about women because women ain't loyal. That's the narrative that they're selling out there right now. And we're buying into it. We're literally or we're figuratively eating poison when we listen to that stuff. There's nothing in hip hop that teaches men how to become better men, how to become business owners. It's all about hustling. And guess where hustlers end up? Either dead or in prison. And when you're in dead or you're in prison, the government makes money because the government taxes everything. They make money. So they're making money. They don't care. They want you to be locked up so when you get out, they're making money. When you're in there, they're making money. When you're dead, they can tax the funeral home and all the medical expenses that you require to take care of everything. The city coroner's office, they tax that. The services that you got to pay, all that stuff, everything gets taxed. And you're just one less stereotype out of the way. But when you are an active father in your child's life, you're taking away one of the potential prisoners that will make them money. When you refuse to leave your woman when things get hard, you are taking away multiple generations of of prisoners that will make them money. When you're not weaponizing your kids against their father because you don't like them, you are taking potential prisoners out of the prison system that are going to make money for the government. When you stop being entitled and thinking that what you bring to the table is yourself and the man has to bring everything else to the table, when you stop thinking that way, you're going to find an incredible man. But if you keep thinking that all you got to do is just look sexy and come to the date and that's what you bring to the table, that man most likely is going to have options and you're not going to be one of them. And then you're going to keep doing that, keep having guys pick you up, take you on these dates and then buy stuff for you. But then you're going to be like 40, 50 years old one day and you're going to realize, crap, this didn't get me anywhere. I don't own anything. Everything I've ever had belonged to those men. I thought that, I had all these purses, but now these purses don't sell for anything because they're old, but they are brand new when I got them. The car that I owned and drove for so long was in the name of the guy I was messing around with. So he took that back once we broke up. You're going to be 50, 60 years old. Actually, probably sooner than that. You'll probably be like 40, 50 years old, way past your prime, thinking, man, I don't have anything to show for all those years. I don't own anything. I haven't gained any skills, nothing. And guess what? All the good men are already married. It's rare that you're going to find a good man at 40, 50 something years old after you've wasted your life sleeping around and going after these other guys. These good men don't settle because they realize they're good men. They're looking for good women. And of course, women in these situations, they're often going to look back at the guys that they ignored because they didn't make enough money. Now those guys are successful or stable. They got their own house. They're doing well by themselves. And then you go back in their lives, and you're like, "Hey, you look so good. I'm so happy for you." You try to get back with them. They're gonna remember that you had a shot and you shot me down. So I don't need you. I'm not gonna settle for you. And I don't want to be the settlement prize. I'm the grand prize. So if you think that it devalues you or it degrades you to make your man a sandwich, or to wash his laundry or to cook for him, if he's working and paying the rent, which is the biggest bill you got to pay, if he's paying the rent and he's working and you're not working and you're not paying any of the bills, by default, you should be making dinner, making or washing the laundry and taking care of the house and making it a home. By default, he's paying all the bills. You take care of your, yeah, you may be working, but if he's paying all the bills, the agreement is you help make the house a home. Now that goes vice versa. If your woman is out there, she's working, she's busting her butt, and she's paying the bills, then men, it is not unmanly or emasculating for you to go keep that house clean. Because I'm telling you, when I get home early, if I have a day off or I'm not working that day, or I get home early, my fiance comes home to a clean house every time. Because my mom taught me that real men know how to sweep, real men know how to make a bed. I cook for her, she cooks for me. We are a team. We are in a very healthy relationship. And honestly, there's a number of people that have been friends, mutual friends of ours that they left because they were so used to being toxic. They enjoyed being toxic. They were so used to being in toxic relationships that the mere sight of someone in a happy and healthy relationship causes them emotional pain. They don't like it. They get mad by it. They're like, how come you always want to be with him? She's like, I want to be. That's my best friend. We have so much fun together. Yeah, but you never come out drinking and doing anything with us. I don't want to. I'm not there anymore. Yeah, it was fun when we did it. I'm not taking anything with it, but like, this is my best friend. I'm telling you, if you want to be with a good man, you have to be a good woman. And if you want to be with a good woman, you need to be a good man. Cause I'm telling you, it doesn't matter how good you swing that day. At some point, your woman's gonna be like, I'm tired of this, man. Like, you don't do anything but good sex. You should not wait until for Christmas to get her something. You shouldn't wait for her birthday to buy her present. You shouldn't wait for Valentine's Day to do something romantic. There are many days my baby comes in, she comes home after I do on sometimes, and many times as soon as she walked in, I had some candles lit and I had some smooth jazz playing or something special or the song. I'll tell you how I proposed to her. Uh in a second. But like there's many times where she walks in and she sees this music and I go to YouTube and have this like this place just playing and on the TV in the sound of the crackling wood with this jazz in the background, also some candles lit. She walks in, she just smiles and goes, "Oh," and then I hold her in my arms and say, "Welcome home, baby," and start slow dancing with her. Little things like that didn't cost me any money, but I'm telling you, that gives her another reason to want to hold on to me. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. But I just want you to consider this. There are tons, I mean tons of of athletes who went like they were the first focus in high school when they were playing football or any sport. Everyone's like, "Oh heck yeah, I'm getting him. This college is already looking at him. He's a freshman." All right, he goes into college. Everyone's excited to watch his career. All of a sudden he hurts his knee. And it's so bad. They're like, that's a career-ending injury. We can't do anything with them. Some people are like, I'm just gonna go in the NFL or I'm gonna go into college for like 2 years. I'm not I don't care about the degree. I'm just going so I can get drafted by an NFL team. So they go out there, they spend like 1 or 2 years in college, excuse me, and then they go to, the combine and get drafted into the NFL. Everyone's excited. First year and first couple of months in or even first game in, they get injured. Career-ending injury. They have no college degree to go back on. They didn't make really any money. They're in serious debt because they thought that they were gonna have a career in this. They don't have a backup plan. Why did I say all that? Because let's say your girl's with you because you have money. You got so much money and you know how to put it down in the bedroom. All of a sudden, on your way to work one day, you get in a bad car accident. You can't walk. You can't even feed yourself. You don't know if it's gonna happen to you, but that's what happened. The money starts to go because the medical bills are very expensive. You can't go to work anymore because you can't perform the functions of your job. So they had to let you go. They're not giving you any workman's comp because you didn't get injured while on the job. The only person you have to take care of you to wipe your butt is your girl. But wait, your girl was with you because you were great in the bedroom and you have money. So naturally, she's gonna start getting mad and she's just gonna show up you're gonna wake up one day, opening your eyes, can't get out of bed, and you're way, hey baby, where you at? I can't move. I can't get out of bed. I need to use the restroom. And she's gone. And she sent you a text, not even a handwritten note, just a text. Say, I'm sorry, baby, but I can't do this. She has no incentive to be there. She has no reason to be there because the money's gone and the D is gone. And then you realize that your relationship never gave her any reason to stay if it was all gone. I'm telling you right now, I know for a fact, God forbid, but if I was ever in a car accident or anything where I could not take care of myself, my fiance would stick through everything. She would be there for me. She would wipe my butt if I couldn't wipe my own butt. She would feed me. She would wash my clothes. She would clean out a pan, a bedpan if I had to use it. She's that woman. That is the kind of partner you should be looking for. If you don't have a partner, if you're dating somebody or you're married to somebody and you can't see them doing that, you really need to think your priorities because this kind of future can happen to anyone. And do you really want to risk that kind of future? Like if something happens, you can't take care of yourself. Do you really want to wait and see? Nah. The media that we've been following, the TV shows, the urban books, the hip hop songs that are out there, they have destroyed the very character of a woman who will be there for their man, who will wash him, take care of him, a man that will be there for his woman, that will get up and rub her feet without her even asking, that will get up and make dinner. That is destroying the very presence of anyone that will do that. If you listen to hip hop, the likelihood of you being that kind of person, if you're listening to the mainstream stuff that is out there, if that is the kind of stuff where that thug life stuff that they got on underground or whatever, if you're listening to that kind of music and that's your niche, that's your focus, you're degrading yourself and you're also erasing very slowly the very possibility of you marrying or dating a good one and being aware of it. Because I've had some good ones in my life, but I wasn't good back then. So I didn't realize how good those women were until later on down the road when I became a good one and I had my heart broken by some bad ones. And I'm like, dude, I really had some good ones. God was merciful to me, to let me experience that and also give me the woman that I have now. She's not my property. She's my best friend. She's my equal. She knows that this house is our home. And I'm telling you, there's women out there that are good quality, just like my baby. My baby is one of a kind, of course, but I'm saying like the kind of quality that she is also out there still. If I gave my fiance a ring that was made of plastic, she would love it just as much as the one I did give her. I designed the ring for her to make sure that no other person will ever have the ring that she has. In fact, the story of how I proposed to her, I've been planning this for a while. I invited her father to my birthday party. Well, before her father he wasn't a big fan of me because of the color of my skin. Like he was a traditional Mexican. He's like, I don't want a black dude dating my daughter because what I see on TV, blacks are this kind of person. He was believing the stereotype that was shown heavily on TV and also heavily out there in LA. This is a very common thing. Blacks tend to not treat their women well. That's the stereotype. And a stereotype is because very often it's true. And as much as we hate stereotypes, the fact is that this is a very common thing in LA and also in lots of other parts of the United States. But nonetheless, her father was not a big fan. He was never like saying you should not be with him. He's just was not a fan of our relationship. So every time I came over to her house and I saw him, I would ask permission to go inside and address him, and I would walk inside and I would say, "Thank you for allowing me into your home." I would always say it in Spanish, and I would treat him with respect. I would always go greet him and try to talk with him just a little bit without becoming a nuisance to him. And then one day where he was eating and I made the decision that I want to ask my fiance to marry me, I had already asked the mother. I already asked my fiance's mother if I can have her blessing to marry her daughter, and she said absolutely. She was very humbled and she was crying. And um, then I went up, and while her father was eating dinner, and traditionally, if a man's eating his dinner, you don't bother him. Leave him alone. Let him eat his dinner. Especially an old school traditional father like it, like hers. So I walked over and I requested, permission to speak, address him and talk to him. And he kind of just looked over, side eyed, looked at me like, "What do you want?" And I just knelt down. I knelt down on my knees and I said in Spanish, and I said, "I love your daughter with all my heart. She's the greatest thing that ever happened to me. And with all my heart, I really want to marry her. I promise you that I will not hurt her, that I will take care of her, that I will fight to provide for her as best as I possibly can. Will you please give me your blessing?" And his eyes just got big and he turned toward me full body and his eyes started to well up. And he started explaining, like, she's a good woman. She's a good girl. I never had any problems with her. Please take care of her. You have my blessing. And from that point on, he treated me very different. He gave me hugs instead of fist bumps. Like, every time he sees me, he stands to his feet to give me a hug. And I tell him, "I love you, father," in Spanish. I "Te quiero mucho, pa." And he's like, "También te quiero." He always tell me like, "I love you as well." And I'm not Latino, but I speak Spanish, and that's also something that they were very impressed by, that I was interested in learning about their culture. It wasn't just like had a fear that when my fiance and I have kids, that I'm not going to entertain them or teach them about their culture. Like, it's all going to be American black culture. But I wanted to reassure them that, no, I want my children to know where they come from. Culture is important. Knowing how you got here is important. It helps you understand who you are. And so I invited him one day, like, to my birthday. And I said, "This is my first birthday with my own place. So, like, I would love to have you." So he came. Him and my fiance and her sister, like, don't get offended if he doesn't come. He's kind of like that. He doesn't like to go anywhere. So on the day of my birthday, my mom was here, my older brother was here, and uh all of a sudden they pull up and he steps out of the car and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, he's here." Nobody, except for one of my good friends, nobody has any idea. Nobody has any idea about what I'm about to do. So after the festivities are having a good time and I open my presents, stuff like that. After I open up my last present, I've been preparing my fiance for a one-on-one dance in front of everybody. And the song is called "Rescue Me" by Chris Young. It's a country song. I met my fiance in a warehouse where we were both working together, and everyone called me Superman, and they gave me that nickname. And I was just really strong, and I was able to lift a lot of really heavy things pretty easily. Um, just experience in the military and little things that I learned here and there. So the song starts out, "I could be your Superman," and basically he's saying, "Look, Superman can save everyone else, but who's going to save me? Will you save me by marrying me?" That's the song, and I dedicated it to her, and I sent it to her. I knew she was never gonna listen to it because it's country music. She's, like, not a big country fan, so I knew she wasn't gonna listen to it, and she and I would dance multiple times to it just to practice. So on the day of my birthday, we danced, and then I took a knee right after that, and I asked her to be my birthday present, and I asked her, "Will you marry me?" And she was crying, and everyone was like, "What?" Like, dude, you planned a family get together, your birthday party, and your engagement party all at the same time. Like, yeah, because now my baby was my birthday present and she loves it. And I don't let that romance die just because time goes on. I never get used to her. I always show gratitude for the incredible woman that I have. And one of the reasons why I have this type of mentality is because I do not subscribe to nor entertain detrimental or toxic hip hop. What you listen to greatly impacts your personality, your way of thinking, your very peace levels. So if you're going to listen to music that degrades women, what makes you think you're not going to do that? At some point, you're going to adapt or adopt that mentality. It just happens. It's called subliminal messaging. You listen to that kind of stuff, it's going to become part of you. And as I've often said in my episodes, women, you're so much more than a pair of boobs. You don't have to sit there and show your cleavage off to get a good man because a good man doesn't care about that. If you go on a first date, dressing sensual is different from dressing sexy. You don't want a man thinking about having sex with you because he's not going to respect you. You want a man thinking about who are you? How smart are you? What do you have? Like, what are your goals in life? What achievements have you had? What are things that you want to do in life? Like, those are the questions a good man would ask you. He would smile. He wouldn't, because guys don't care how much money a woman makes. For the most part, we don't care about that. We care about your character. Are you going to take care of him? Because essentially, at some point, when you're in a relationship, women, I don't know if you're aware of this, but your man needs a mother too. Part of your billet about being a mother to the children you will one day have, assumingly, is also being a mother to your man. It's part of the job description. You have to nurture and be his mother as well as his wife or girlfriend or whatever. That's just kind of part of the thing. And men do the same thing. Men have to sometimes be a father figure in the relationship. That firm, like, nah, 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 babe, stop it. That's like because you want to go and react or do something you shouldn't do, and they're the voice of reason saying, babe, no. Like, it's just there's certain characteristics of mothering and certain characteristics of fathering to each other that are necessary in a relationship. Making a lunch for your man if he's working and you're not, or he's providing everything and you're working as well, that's part of the team. On a football team, not everyone throws the ball. Some people, like the quarterback, throws the ball and others block. Some receive, some watch. Everyone has a role, but the role complements the team. Ultimately, a marriage, a relationship, it's a team. If you're looking for a good man, you need to be a good woman. If you're looking for a good woman, you need to be a good man because good women aren't going to fall for your BS and good men are not going to settle for yours. I mean, I know I went off on talking about a lot of different subjects and everything about this chapter, if you will, of entertainment and the detriment that it's had on society, especially the black community. It's important to recognize that the type of entertainment to which we subscribe impacts who we will become. And ultimately, it's not just us who suffer, it's our kids, it's our neighbors, it's our friends. Don't fall for that narrative of being a boss bee that doesn't need anybody because when you're 60 years old, you're going to realize, crap, I wasted all that time. Now I'm all alone. All the good ones are taken. Now I'm going to have to just settle for someone who's just going to want to spend life with me. I'm serious. That's what's going to end up happening. Don't fall for that Hollywood boss bee. That is not even the people portraying that are doing that themselves. They have healthy relationships. They're just putting on a character that you're buying into because they know you'll be crazy enough to buy it. You're not a victim. Don't attribute that mentality. So, with all these points that I made, I wanted to see if there's anyone else that had anything that they'd like to add because there's so much going on in society today and we're we're being hit hard morally, especially the women out there. We're seeing more and more TikToks out there with girls just asking that same question. Where are all the good men at? Well, the good men are looking for good women and they're tired of being taken advantage of. You got all these good men out there chasing women and saying, hey, would you like to go on a date with me? And she's like, no, you drive a Honda. I'm good. And they treat them like crap. We're just tired of being taken advantage of. We're tired of being treated like we're second class citizens or we're not good enough when all we have is our heart. But you can get a man who makes 6, 8 figures a month, and he won't even give you his heart, the most precious treasure he has. Hello, Olu. I
Hey,
hope I
how
pronounced
are
that right.
you? Yes, you did. You definitely did.
Welcome to the show.
Um, Thank you for having me. So I was listening in first, and then I had to jump in because what you're saying is so true. Like, all right, so I went to Turks and Caicos, and that's where my boyfriend lives. And in the beginning, when I met him, he lives in Turks, and he's from Haiti, and I'm from New York. So when I first met him, like he was always telling me, like, oh yeah, I heard New York girls are bougie. I heard New York girls only like 8-figure men. Like, telling me I heard. And I'm like, one day I had to ask him, where you heard this from? And this man gonna tell me Drake or the rappers
Yeah.
or like, and I was so disappointed. Like he's a smart man, you guys. Like, don't get me wrong, like very, but it's just like since he never been to America, listening to rap music, he's thinking, this is actually, the reality. Like this is how we are. And I was just like, you do know that us females, not all of us are thinking like that. Like I remember our first date, he took me to this expensive ass bar and I'm looking at him like, we don't need to be here. And then he was just like, no, because, like, I really want to get to know you. I'm like, you can't get to know me from a rap song.
Yep.
You can, like, what? So I just feel like, honestly, what you're saying is so true. Like, it's like words are very powerful.
Oh,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? And people, yeah. So it's just like, some of the lyrics, I know a girl from New York, she only dates 6 figures and stuff. And men are actually men that don't live like in New York, or even men who do live in New York are feeling like, all right, yeah, this girl, she wants a gangster, she wants a thug. This is what from these rap videos and these rap lyrics, and it's so sad, Ross. Like I
Yeah.
don't, but it's never gonna change because it's like this is what sells.
Oh,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? So that's another issue as well. Like this is what's actually selling, and I travel a lot, so everywhere in the world I go to, I could tell somebody I'm from New York, and guess what? They start playing Jay Z. I swear to God,
Yeah, it
like
makes sense.
they feel like your comfort zone is all right. Let me play this. Like I remember I actually went to Senegal, and the DJ was like, "Oh, where you from?" And I swear to God, that whole night he was just playing New York songs, and it's like all the gangster and all the, and
Yeah.
they don't really know like what they're saying. They're just like dancing to the beat and stuff.
Yeah.
But when I was walking out, he told me, the DJ was like, "I'm so sorry for playing certain songs," like because he was like he hates listening to songs that call women bitches, but he was just like a lot of rap songs. Like, what's going on with that? I swear to God, he told me he was like a lot of rap songs is calling females bitches. Do y'all like being called bitches? Like in New York, I'm like, no, we don't. If a man calls me a bitch, it's over.
Yeah.
But it's over.
I met so
So
many women from Jersey and New York. Like I'm saying, you guys are a different breed of strong out there. Like there's like country song women from the South, and then there's like New York strong women out there. You guys endure some BS in New York and are strong. I'm not kidding. Respect to you all.
oh, I love that. No, it's true. And it's just like, honestly, I just came up here to say thank you for having this topic because it's very important. And like I was saying earlier, like words are very powerful. You'll have like a 3-year old, singing the songs of Carly B, you know,
Yep.
and it's just like people go on TikTok and they laugh at it. But at the end of the day, it's sad.
Yeah.
Like I have a 4-year old. I'm not in my 4-year old sing no Drake songs or nothing like that. No, because it's inappropriate and people just laugh. And it's just like, no, we need to change as a society. We need to change. Black, white, brown, I don't care who you are. We need to actually change. Because I feel like if you're mad that a white person can't say nigga, then why are we saying it to each other too?
Exactly.
And these like, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot. But I think my time is up. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Thank you so much. I really do
Of
appreciate that.
course.
Wow, that was great. Thank you so much, Olu. Let's see who else. We got some other people jumping on now. That's awesome. And I really appreciate that. I really appreciate the love and the interaction right now. I always love hearing the different perspectives of different people and the guru warrior. How are you doing today?
Hello. How you doing?
I'm
How do
doing well
you
and
do?
yourself?
Zulu Nation. Let's get funky.
That's
Okay,
right.
so right, I grew up with hip hop, and the only reason why we had hip hop because they took away the music, free music instruments. So we broke a lot of our parents' record players, and
Hmm.
stereophonic hi-fis. Yeah, it was a bad time, but a good time. You know, like Curtis Blow, uh, the message, stuff like that. But actual DJing and hip hop was on the underground, and they would not sign anything or any records because it was all ciphers and your mother's so fat, she eat a pound cake and I don't know, she needs uh, a beeping light to back up or so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was ridiculous at that point. And this woman from Jamaica, and Shirley created Sugar Hill Records, but she really, wow, she picked three guys, a pizza maker and her son's friend and her son. They didn't know what they were doing. They just been around, but they wanted to put it on wax. And then, they would sign people, but, Jimmy Iovine, I'll give him credit with Dr. Dre, because he was tired of doing the same stuff over and over again.
Yeah.
Iovine got with Dr. Dre, and the list goes on and on. But, you know, it's not a form of Black oppression. There are underground artists like Sarak, like my daughter Beast Mob, who tell you the truth. Oshun, people like that. But, you know, Spotify, you got to pay for it to hear it
Yeah.
or listen to a podcaster such as myself. They took out 956 shows of like some fabulous music, so
Well, there's a
it's
lot of good, like some of the greatest hip hop songs ever to be written. Like that one, I'm
KRS
not a huge
One.
Biggie fan, but like that one song Juicy,
Mm.
he's talking about like his life, his experiences. They had stories. That's one of the things that makes country music so good is the stories, the relatability of a lot of these
Oh
songs.
yeah, my
And
favorite is Jolene. I mean, goodness gracious,
yeah, from
Dolly
Dolly Parton.
Parton was amazing.
Yeah.
She was a storyteller.
It's
I
funny when I
like
tell
rock and
people
roll
that.
too. I like Joan Jett. I mean, I listen to classical jazz. My father was a jazz musician. I'm Jamaican, so I heard reggae and carnival music. So don't get me wrong. I have no color when it comes to music.
Yeah, music
I
is a
just
great
like what I
it's a
like.
great medicine.
Yes, yes.
And, like, it's
Mm,
funny, I tell, when I told my fiance that "I Will Always Love You" is actually Dolly Parton's song, she didn't know that. And it's
that's
funny how many
right.
people don't know that's Dolly's song, but
Actually,
we
Prince wrote it.
really I did not know that.
Mm,
Wow, that's an
Fine
interesting
Legacy. Yeah.
fact. 'Cause I hear
Yeah.
Dolly sing it, and then when every time someone hear "I Will Always Love You," because Whitney killed that song, she blew it out of the water,
Of
no one
course,
else
she had
remembers that.
touch.
Yeah.
She had touch.
Yeah,
Heck yeah.
she had that like,
Tuck.
unmistakable voice.
Yeah. Mm. Mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Yeah. Another rapper that I'm
Yeah.
a big fan of that I really, really love is his name is Tom McDonald. He has a lot of YouTube, videos. He's a Canadian rapper, but I think he lives in the United States, and he just speaks truth, unbiased, real, legitimate, unfiltered truth. His videos on YouTube are actually censored, like, he doesn't have the cursing in it, but, like, they're beautifully worded
Aw,
albums, like, I really encourage anyone listening, check out Tom McDonald. I'm pretty sure you would really enjoy what he's saying because he's
if
speaking
you
real things.
know my dude, just tell him to, brand his name.
Alright.
For real.
Thank you so much, Guru Warrior. I really appreciate you coming on. I appreciate your feedback as well. And if anyone else has anything they'd like to add, you're like the opportunities here. I'd love to hear other things that you guys are saying because it's so important for us to continue this dialogue. It's important for us to heal because maybe not everyone is going to heal at one time, but very often healing is a one person at a time process. It's it's you can change one life by the things that you say, the things that you do, the example that you set. You could change one life, and that one life can affect hundreds of other lives.
Right? Oh my goodness. Let me tell you about a song when I was in, I don't know, junior high school or high school. It was called Dear God. It was by Ecstasy. Uh, they came out of the UK and kids were committing suicide.
Oh wow.
It was a rock song. And, they had it banned. The guy was gay. They were pissed. They were still trying to deal with it. New Yorkers were like, "What? You stupid idiots are killing yourself over a song. Come on. We got hip hop." So that's when MTV started to pay attention. Plus, we had like underground hip hop shows, um, Channel 31 on television, Ralph McDaniels, Stretch and Bobbito on the radio at 4. Pirate radio is on your radio. And they said everything. We use that like the freaking internet. I swear.
Yeah, and it's
No
really
kidding.
interesting that the like channels, just like what I was talking about earlier, why I boycott BET because it's called Black
Oh, I
Entertainment
don't like.
TV.
Yeah,
So like
right.
the very name of that kind of pressures, like if you're black, kind of feel pressured that you have to watch BET and know what's going on BET, otherwise you're quote unquote
Yeah.
not black enough. And but like think about it, if a white person were to come up and say we're going to create a TV show or a TV network called White Entertainment TV, a lot of
Oh,
people are going to
it's
go
called.
that's racist or like
Oh
I
no,
believe
they
that
have
an
those.
ethnicity should not be attached to a channel network. But if you want to talk about
Oh,
culture,
you never
it's a
watch
different
Fox
thing.
News, dude?
Fox News, CNN, like none of these are, they don't have the name white entertainment television or
Oh,
black
they
people
don't
news.
need
Like,
to. It's called astroturfing.
well, people can still decide whether or not they want to watch Fox or CNN or MSNBC or anything like that.
Oh
There's no
yeah,
ethnic group
yeah.
listed on the
Mm,
name. Like if you have
mm.
if Nike were to create the black person shoe, a lot of black people are going to feel pressure to get it just to, say, oh yeah, I want this shoe. And then there's going to be a lot of other black people say, I'm not going to tell you
Oh, like
you're not going to tell me
FUBU,
what I have to wear.
like FUBU
Well, FUBU, yeah, FUBU stands for us by us,
for us by
but
us.
it
Yeah.
was not for black people by black people. That it wasn't named FB BB. It wasn't named for black people by black people. It was named for us by us, which we can take it to
We
say it's for black people by black people. We can make that decision for ourselves, but it's not called that. But Black Entertainment TV is literally called Black Entertainment TV, which
Yes,
kind
and
of
it was
takes away.
garbage.
Yeah, so it's like that's why I'm like,
Step
I don't think
and
they
shuffle and
say again.
step and fetch it type TV.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
just
like
I don't
it.
think that people should attribute race to a channel because there's like we're not a monolith, meaning we black people don't all think the same. We don't all act the same. We're not the same people. We're different people, different bodies with similar skin colors. And no all the whole white American culture is not the same. They think completely different. They all have their own individual personalities, mindsets, religious beliefs, etc. So to attribute a channel to a race, an ethnic group, I think it's wrong, which is why I oppose and boycott BET. In my opinion, BET should be called Urban Entertainment Television. If that's who they want to market to people
Oh,
in the
they
urban
had
areas,
that.
no, but they should be
Yeah.
called, in my opinion, I think the network itself, the name
UPN. We
UPN.
had UPN, underpaid. I can't say the word, but
UPN
that
was
was a
actually owned by
joke.
Warner Brothers.
Yes, that was just a joke. Okay,
Yeah.
Warner Brothers. But I didn't say it first. It was like Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
So, but I figured I'd make you laugh because it's not worth your breath to even think about idiocracy such as that. Honestly,
Yeah.
there's much more work to be done,
Oh yeah.
you
And
know?
that's one of the reasons why, like, for the longest time, and once again, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time on here.
Oh, no problem.
And like one of the things that I really love to do is I love to have dialogues and discussions with people and remind people, because I've talked to so many individuals, and many of the people that know me push me into, or not push me, they motivated me and really just reiterated, hey, you should be doing a podcast. I'm like, why? I'm like, well, first you have the voice for it. And secondly, I think you have something that people need to hear and want to hear. I'm like, okay, well, after I don't know, the 50th to the 100th person told me that, I was like, let me just see, let me give it a shot. And I started doing it. I just fell in love with it because it's important for us to have dialogues. Whether you like this president or hate this president, you can have a dialogue, a civil and respectful dialogue with somebody who has a different opinion. There's not enough of that today. And the only way we learn and grow as a people is by opening our minds and being willing to listen to someone else who has a different perspective. You don't have to agree with that person for you both to live in peace. Most, like, there's so many, like, I have not found a couple yet where husband and wife think exactly the same. They both have different opinions, but they have, a team mentality. They're like, I want to work together with my spouse and I want, to come to a compromise. So if you're just discussing the different beliefs, like between an atheist and a Christian, you guys are just discussing what you believe and talking together, you can have an incredible conversation. I sat down and I spoke with a devil worshiper who goes to the Church of Satan. I'm a Christian. I don't judge anybody for how they believe or what they believe or how they want to worship. That's their right. But I wanted to understand what it is they believed. I wanted to understand what it is that they do in the presence of their beliefs. And I learned that there's lots of different sects of satanic churches, a number of different ones. They have different ways of doing it. So, but even if they all worship the same individual, there's different ways they do it. And some people were like I had a lot of my Christian buddies go, "Oh man, why did you do that? I would never want to sit next to a devil worshiper." And I told them, one of the greatest ways to be an effective doctor is to understand the symptoms of your patient. And if the whole purpose, the whole mission of a Christian is to help bring people into Christ, it's important to understand what other people believe. That way, if it's not working for them or when it's not working for them, they'll see that it's working for you. And you can have an opportunity to have a welcome discussion with them, which will lead them away from that path to this path. But if you walk up to a complete stranger and go, "Oh, you need Jesus," they're not going to listen to that. Even if it's true, they're not going to listen to that because they're going to think, "Man, you don't know me. Would you think you're perfect?" That's immediately what they're going to do to justify and defend. So rather than sit there and try to change somebody and tell them, "Oh, you need to do this," I like to learn about people. I like to understand them, see how they think, why they think that way, what makes them tick, because our interactions are a lot better. Even if I have a difference of opinion, I'll speak my opinions if we're talking about opinions, but then they'll see that I don't have any less respect for them as if they had the same beliefs as I did. That I respect their views, I respect their beliefs, and we just have a difference of opinion. That's fine. Let's go get lunch. That's just how it is with me. So I do open up the floors often because I want to hear the opinions of other people because there's things that I don't know and I would love to learn them. Some people may be having some struggles in their relationships and not understanding, you know, how they can find a better spouse or be a better spouse or find a better partner, etc. I love helping people out, especially when they're willing to open up and talk. I really love that. It's always welcome in my shows. I really do appreciate that. And if you have something else you'd like to add, please feel free to reach out. I'd love to talk with you. Um, Again, this is Real Talk with RJ. I'm using the Wisdom app for this platform right now, but I also have my podcasts are available in tons of other places. You can find it on Amazon Music. You can find it on Google Playcast, or excuse me, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Anchor. You can find it on so many different other platforms. My podcasts have reached 12 different countries right now. They're growing very beautifully. I have a very faithful a fan base worldwide and nationwide, and it's getting there. So the secret is sharing it as well. So please continue to share this. If you go out to the other platforms to see my podcast, I have this is my 50th episode, and it'll be the final episode I do in my first season. I'll be doing other seasons or my second season shortly hereafter. But I really wanted to I just wanted to talk about this subject because I'm just seeing so many quote unquote victims in the hip hop industry. Oh man, I'm oppressed and I gotta get all these jewels and I gotta get this chain, and I gotta get this and this and this. I've never seen Bill Gates wear a chain. I've never seen Donald Trump wear a chain. I've never seen like the moguls when they're in business meetings. I don't see them wearing chains and all these jewels. I see P. Diddy and Jay-Z, they do it because they were rappers first. So they need to still keep that persona. But make no mistake, when these guys are actually in these meetings and stuff like that, in real business meetings, the character is not there. The businessman is there. The most wealthy people, Warren Buffett, Oprah, they're not wearing all these jewels and all this nonsense stuff. That stuff doesn't make you money. So why waste money buying all these jewels that are going to lose value? If you think that jewels make you money, they don't. Because I have taken a diamond ring. I've been engaged before, so after I ended that engagement, I took that ring to a pawn shop. Now, the pawn shop, they look, and I also was willing to auction it off. I tried to auction off because I wasn't going to accept what the pawn shop person was going to offer me. I got a significantly lower amount of money, like thousands of dollars lower than what I had paid for that ring. I was mad. I was like, "What the heck? Why are they not even paying this for that ring? That ring was worth way more." And they're like, "Diamonds aren't worth what you think they are. As soon as you take them out, they're not worth that much. They're not rare stones. They're just controlled by the De Beers cartel." So you could take a diamond from one store and then walk right across the street to another store that's a diamond store. You bought that same 1 carat princess cut clear diamond flawless ring. You buy that diamond, you take it out of Zales and you go right to Jared right across the street. They're gonna tell you that the $5,000 ring you just bought is worth only $2,000. You're gonna look at them like, "What?" And you'll do the same thing. Like, diamonds really don't have the value that you think they do. So it's not a smart investment. But what do these multimillionaire moguls have? They have homes, they have properties, they have resorts, they have yachts, they have things that make money. They don't waste their time buying stupid things that don't make money. The things that hip hop is trying to get you to buy. Oh, buy these clothes that cost $4,000 that are only going to be relevant for 2 months. Buy that. Go get that. You have to have it, otherwise you ain't cool enough. These multi-billion dollar moguls aren't buying that garbage. They got a polo shirt that's nice from Lacoste and or Lacoste, whatever it's called. They get from that brand and they go golfing. They don't buy $7,000 shoes. They buy planes. They buy things that actually make you money. So my suggestion, if you're hip hop, if you're listening to music and it's degrading women and it's not supporting family or helping you become a better person, turn it off. Don't waste time investing in your own destruction. Invest in your own improvement, in your potential, in your future. You are so much stronger with a partner that once was best for you than you are for settling for somebody who only picked you because of how much money you have. I sincerely thank every one of you for the time you spent here with me this evening. And I know you guys could be anywhere you want to be, yet you chose to be here with me. So thank you. Thank you so much. It means the world to me. Thank you for those who participated and also shared their insights and their perspectives. I really appreciate you guys. I really enjoy listening to what you had to say. Again, please go out and check out my other episodes available anywhere podcasts are available. Just look up Real Talk with RJ, and it's the same exact icon as the one you see on this platform right here. Don't forget to follow. Don't forget to share if you go in the other or the other platforms to look at my podcast. Don't forget to share if you like what you hear. Because maybe somebody else needs to hear this as well. And I really do appreciate your love and support. Thank you guys. Have a great evening. And if there's no one else, this is Real Talk with RJ signing out.